organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV.
Students and smartphones. The two seem to go hand in hand, but are students taking advantage of free resources to help locate a lost or stolen phone? We'll ask them.
And finals week is approaching, and so is the sunshine. See if it's getting in the way of students' productivity.
And in sports, how one former field hawk is going international.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Starnes.
And I'm Brianna Jett.
Iowa City Police responded to a knife slashing on Tuesday morning. They say 24-year-old Austin B. Chatterton walked into his estranged wife's apartment and saw another man there. The report goes on to say that Chatterton and the victim exchanged punches, leaving the other man with several cuts on his arm. Police say the victim will be released from the hospital and should be okay. Chatterton is arrested and is facing a felony assault charge.
In today's age, cell phones are for more than making just a phone call or a text. Well, those with smartphones know there's an app for that. See what Daily Iowan TV's Kelly O'Lean found out on smartphone apps for finding a missing phone.
Technology has become such an important part of today's society. So much, in fact, New York Daily News took a poll and found that 84% of people worldwide cannot live without their smartphones. In doing so, I went out and asked students if they have ever lost their phones and whether or not they use smartphone apps to find them. This result may surprise you. And what kind of smartphone do you have?
Galaxy 4.
All right, and have you ever lost a phone or had one stolen before?
Yes.
And did you ever have to use the locate my phone app?
I have not, no.
And do you have a smartphone?
I do.
You do? And have you ever lost or had your smartphone stolen?
No,
Oh, so you don't have the Find My iPhone or Find My Android app?
I don't.
And do you have the Find My iPhone app by
I
chance?
actually do have the Find My iPhone.
Have you ever lost or had your iPhone stolen?
I've never had it stolen, but I've used the app many times. Misplace it, so
And is it effective?
very effective.
All right, so what kind of smartphone do you have?
iPhone.
iPhone, and have you ever had it lost or stolen before?
I have had it stolen before.
And have you ever had to use the Find My iPhone app by chance?
I have.
And did it work?
It did. I actually it was stolen at the rec center, and we actually located it through lost my app. So.
The Find My iPhone app for Apple products can be used from any computer, tablet, or handheld device. In doing so, using the Apple ID the lost or stolen product is registered to, sign into iCloud, and access Find My iPhone. This will show you a map with each registered product, its location, including options to lock or delete information on the product.
We have a location for the phone, the stolen phone that's been reported, and it has to have been reported stolen. Then we can follow up on that, and we can attempt to find it by going to wherever the automated system tells us that phone's located.
But is it really safe to go looking for a phone with phone theft rising across the nation?
I don't recommend anybody go out and investigate on their own or try to track down their phone on their own, unless, of course, they believe it's lost. But if you believe your phone is stolen and you do use one of these automated systems, let us assist you. Let us assist you at the very least with making that contact.
I guess that's for you to decide. Kelly O'Lean, Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks, Kelly. After 35 years at Target, now former CEO Greg Steinhoffel bids farewell. Steinhoffel's dismissal from the popular chain was announced Monday, and he became the first major executive of a corporation to lose their job over a breach of customer data. Steinhoffel's step down came nearly 5 months after Target disclosed a huge breach where hackers stole millions of credit card and debit card records. He was also president and chairman of the retail giant and also resigned from the board of directors. His departure leaves Target without a leader, but many say this move suggests the company's attempt to start on a clean slate as it wrestles with the fallout.
Not trying to jinx this beautiful weather, but I know it has been a struggle to focus on my studies these last few days. With finals week right around the corner, I know I am not the only one trying to find excuses to enjoy the weather. Daily Iowan TV's Stephen Duran went out and talked to a few students to see how their studies are going.
Spring has finally sprung, and it's starting to show its colors more and more every day. Students have been spending more time outside of the classroom on campus, and with finals coming up, they are trying not to let this weather get in the way of what's important.
I obviously want to go outside and do stuff. I'm a big tennis player, and I like to play basketball behind birds sometimes, so it's definitely affecting it, but I'm going to try and find time to do both.
Weather doesn't really affect the way I study. It just kind of, if it's a nice day, I'll go out and enjoy it for a little while and then come back and study for a little while.
Well, I've been struggling too, Brianna, and we're going to toss it over again here to Daily Iowan TV's Kelly O'Lean with our forecast for this week to see if that's going to keep happening. Kelly?
Thanks, guys. Tonight we will drop down to around 60 degrees. Still not bad. Tomorrow we will get up to a morning high of 70 degrees with partly cloudy skies and an afternoon high of 83 degrees, so dress lightly. Tomorrow night we'll reach a low of 75 degrees. Now for a look at the rest of the week. Thursday will keep the high temps going at 78 degrees with a chance of thunderstorms. Friday will drop a little to the upper 60s and will be mostly cloudy. Your weekend will stay in the 70s and be just about perfect with a chance of rain on Sunday. That rain will carry on to Monday with a high in the upper 70s. Stay dry and enjoy this beautiful weather.
Thanks, Kelly. Now, for years, there has been an ongoing discussion about a stereotype. Daily Iowan TV's Cachet Clater dives in to answer a stereotypical question that's sure to make a splash. Why don't black people swim?
Although 3 African Americans represented the USA in the 2012 Summer Olympics, there's no denying that 60% of our race cannot swim. And although we may never have a definitive answer as to why we can't swim, here's some factors we may consider.
First, the hair. I know my mom didn't let me swim for a while because she didn't want me to go in the pool and my hair get messed up.
Many African Americans, including Oprah, say they don't swim because of their hair. So let's take a look at what chlorine really does to our hair. First, chlorine destroys the protein layers that nourish hair. Second, it damages the outer layers of the hair the most. And third, causes cuticles to crack and split, resulting in dry, brittle hair. And while hair may be a valid reason not to dive in head first, the second factor coincides with history. Charles Holliday, the only African American on Iowa's swim team, helps explain why swimming has become a predominantly white sport.
A big thing is with swimming, I think it started off as a country club sport, and a lot of African Americans can't get into that.
Looking back on history, African Americans were not able to join country clubs and often not allowed to swim in public pools. In addition to the lack of resources, they did not have the funding to put their kids in swimming.
That's a big reason myself I didn't get involved until high school, because I was in 3 sports that were funded by the government. I had basketball, baseball, and football, and those were all $30 to participate for a whole season with all your equipment. But swimming, it could be 10 times that for a month.
I spoke with a lifeguard to figure out yet another factor.
I think a lot of it is people are scared to say that they don't know how to swim.
Although hair history and the fear of asking may explain our inability to swim, we cannot ignore the consequences of not knowing how.
Black kids are 3 times more likely to drown than white kids.
So now that we know a few factors and risks of not knowing how to swim, what's next?
I think encouragement is a big thing, just to get them involved. It could save a life if that's what it comes down to, and I think it's well worth it.
Taking the first steps may be the hardest, but it just may save your life. Cachet Clater, Daily Iowan TV.
Just as seniors prepared for their last week of classes on Sunday, UI Senior Week drew to a close. The annual celebration of graduating students, hosted by Students Today Alumni Tomorrow and the College Activities Board, saw a bit of a dip in turnout this year, something that CAB Traditions Committee member Amy Madison said might have been due to a lack of publicity.
They kept talking about how it's hard to reach seniors, like there's this unknown species, but really we're everywhere. So I think, especially the cap and gown thing, seniors have to go to that to get a cap and gown to graduate. So I think that would help a lot to target that age group, I guess.
From a party at Gibson Square Park to a trip to Riverside Casino, there was plenty for seniors to turn out for, but Madison said there were fewer than 10 complete sets of tickets sold for all the events, rather. Sales for individual events were also less than what CAB had hoped for. This year was the first year that CAB had charged for tickets to the event. Both CAB and STAT say they hope to increase awareness and turnout for next year's event.
A lot going on in the world of black and gold. For more on that, we'll toss it over to our own Kevin Glick in the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. Kevin?
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to men's golf head coach Mark Hankins in just a bit, but first we're talking international sports. Field hockey may have ended their season back in November, but 3 Hawkeyes are still making headlines after being selected by Field Hockey Canada for the women's national team. Senior Carly Johansson is one of those 3, and our own Aaron Faust sat down with her to talk about her plans to play professionally.
Center Carly Johansson has been breathing field hockey for as long as she can remember.
In Vancouver, it's kind of like just one of those sports that everyone plays when they're little, so my mom signed me up for it. I had a bunch of friends that played as well, and then I just kept playing.
Growing up, she played other sports, but why field hockey in college?
I never really thought about it, more like it was always my favorite, and I knew I wanted to play in high school, and then once I got to high school, I thought I don't want to stop, I want to play in college, and then once I came here, I had the opportunity with the national team.
After playing at Iowa, she never thought her field hockey career would continue after college, not to mention playing for the Canadian national team.
I was asked to go to like a selection camp in my sophomore year over Christmas break, and then they liked me, so they asked me to come back and train with them later that spring, and then in the summer as well, and then I was chosen to go with the junior national team to the Pan Am Cup. So that was my first time with the junior team, and then this spring, or last April, I was selected for the senior national team.
Carly has been traveling back and forth all semester to Canada and is currently in London with her team. Aaron Faust, Daily Iowan TV.
Men's golf making their 6th straight NCAA regional tournament appearance, traveling to Columbia, Missouri next week. We have head coach Mark Hankins on the phone to talk about his squad. And Mark, what's the mindset of the team heading into this regional?
This is only our 3rd or 4th tournament now, I think, where we're playing the same lineup for the whole year. And so as they kind of get more comfortable with each other, we continue to be successful, and I think our spring has given us confidence, but we still need to go and play well, because there's this point in the year, you got to play 3 good rounds or else you go home.
And Mark, what's the team's overall goal for this regional?
All of us working together and holding each other accountable. And these guys have done a good job of that the last few weeks, and it's resulted in some top finishes. And there's no reason to take a step backwards, no reason to do anything different. You got to go play a good tournament at regionals. I would tell them with this field that a top 5 finish is a good finish, and that's what our goal would be anyways, finish in the top 5.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Mark. Finally, one quick note, baseball also finishing off their second to last road trip of the season, taking on Ohio State in Columbus. The Hawkeyes forcing their rubber match yesterday after pouring on 17 runs on the Buckeyes in Game 2. However, Ohio State got the better of Iowa in this one, narrowly escaping with a go-ahead solo home run shot by Troy Kuhn in the 6th inning to give the Buckeyes the 3-2 win in the game and the 2-1 win in the series. That's it for tonight. Tune in tomorrow for another edition of What It Takes. Back to you guys at the desk.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into tomorrow's pages at the Daily Iowan. I know our good friend Brent Griffiths has a story running about e-cigarettes tomorrow. It should be a good read.
I've heard a lot of great things about it, so be sure to check it out. But for now, that's all we have for you tonight, so catch up with us tomorrow night at the same time or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Have a great night.
Iowa SJMC.
Want a major that'll take you somewhere? I joined and now I'm in Los Angeles, California, interning for Conan O'Brien at Warner Brothers Studios.
I joined and now I'm working in public relations for diabetes research.
SJMC. Iowa SJMC.